The idea for the Ultimate Braai Master really came about out of one email that I get the most from people around the world, and that email is, how do we join one of your road trips? Actually, the Ultimate Braai Master is one of those road trips, but on steroids. And yeah, it's quite simple. We take you across the length and breadth of South Africa, places that I've been to before, but we add into it the challenges that I've been doing in the great outdoors for most of my adult life. If I think about the whole experience of shooting the Ultimate Braai Master, there's a couple of things that I have to take into account. In my small world, I've perfected going out into the hinterland of Southern Africa and shooting television shows. But when you take 50 crew members, 30 contestants, and take them across the length and breadth of South Africa, it becomes a logistical nightmare. You're dealing with 80 different personalities. You've removed them from their creature comforts, their comfort zones. So you end up with what I affectionately call Sesame Street. In many respects, what makes the show uniquely South African is the fact that it's a South African concept, it stars South Africans, it's made by South Africans, and it taps into the South African psyche. In terms of the structure of the show, we always knew that there would be team challenges and elimination challenges, but when you're shooting reality, you always adapt to the best of the situation. So often, and I'll give you an example, we always knew what the format would be of the last episode and what the theme would be, but how the structure would work, we didn't know until 2 days before we shot it. And reality is beautiful because you're always adapting to what's going to be the best content, what's going to entertain the viewer the most. The trick was to keep the contestants guessing, and in turn the viewer guessing as well. When you think about the tips that I would give across to Braai, they're actually the same ones that apply in a kitchen. The longer your friends wait for their food, the better it tastes, firstly. Secondly, you got to get your prep out of the way, otherwise you're going to be that poor sod that's standing around the fire cooking in the rain while the rest of the guests are having a great time. In fact, the mantra that we have in the show is the mantra that we have in the show is plan, prep, cook, and serve. And that's really what we should all be doing around the fire. Whether or not braaiing is healthier than sort of roasting something in an oven, I can't conclude, but I can tell you that when you cook on a fire, that getting together around the African TV is way better than sitting on your own roasting a chicken in an oven at 180 degrees. And I think that's really, they say in South Africa that sport brings us together. I beg to differ. What truly brings South Africans together is cooking on a fire. My biggest hope for this television show is that it shows, again, that as a nation we call Braai, in all 11 languages we call Braai the Braai, and my biggest hope is that it brings us together as a nation beyond what like winning the World Cup in rugby or soccer could ever do.